So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find then the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayelic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end. As per then Yeshayahu, the 61st chapter, we find then many areas of the scripture where the Holy of Holies is the place for a person experiencing being holy. There are many other areas where then during the time of deceit people could concoct for themselves some sort of a holy presence or holy status of some sort. What kind we don't know, because the understanding of holy comes from the Holy of Holies of the Tabernacles. So for those people who are then engaged for so long in being absolutely separated from the world while not tabernacling, it's a bit unique. So truly, when speaking with people and understanding what tabernacling means versus what the world then has taught as far as being holy of their own, then we begin our quest, understanding then the new system when it comes, what it's going to do, what would be then the objectives and the targets of these areas of the new system. Very simple understanding. Every nation engaged in internet trade, they're going to be nearly inexistent. Some of them we can understand. You find big stores, for instance, Walmart, you find sometimes Target. Though they have the actual stores, they also have online trade. And the situation coming in the future as per then tabernacling, not saying if a person is always holy 100% and then from the world's standards as far as what they understand as being holy, then they come to some sort of, only because they are not holy themselves, then they kind of drag down the others, where neither of them were ever found in a holy place. So then, every person of the planet can tabernacle themselves when the first holy city returns. As we understand, the first holy city is going to be there in northern Africa, where then the cities are returning. Not only there, but in many areas of the world. So what can we understand after we then remove these so-named holy of some sort of what they have concocted for themselves during 1,000 years of deceit? Where do we stand? Precisely where we then were speaking of the last video regarding then the new system coming. But then when it does, a lot of the internet trade of these registered stores are going to be greatly in jeopardy. The reason why, it's because we are speaking of bulk. As we understand, the Chinese area, the country is very vast, lots of land, and space for expansion of industry is absolutely, in quote, astronomical. So then when the system comes, each nation, they would have then obviously their natural resources and instant trade online with the Chinese system, then ships with what they ordered at the port. These indicates those areas where then the system is at because of the price. Price is very inexpensive and freight at no charge. They don't have a whole lot of competition in the future. Those stores based in internet trade are going to be greatly at risk because of the prices. For instance, eBay is going to be nearly in existence. because the system mostly then obviously would deal with older equipment or then older technologies. But as far as doing trade with regular bulk, it's going to come through then the peculiar Chinese system. It's going to greatly reduce the amount of trade, including also Amazon and those based trade internet traders. So then it's not only tabernacling, because people have a confusion of, oh, a person has to be absolutely holy of their standards of some sort when related with their Gentile levels. That's not the way it works. The way it does is tabernacling is the understanding of holy. The rest of it is Gentile. So if you think it's holy or not from your standards, it makes no sense. So any person from anywhere can be linked up with the tabernacle when it comes, and then be holy from then on, but not until then. There are so many churches involved in scandals of absolutely, in quote, astronomical heights. And those are the very people that decided to have then the standards of being holy, when they themselves are not. But the point is preparing our country then for the system to come, understanding then the instant taxation system, every financial institution obviously being together with the government and working through the system, making sure then very fastly the entire nation, each and every financial institution then is registered with the government, maintaining taxes, deducting then instantly. As far as tabernacling, there is no other place that should be then considered holy other than a tabernacle or tabernacles. The entire world came out of the 1,000 years of deceit. What they had concocted as holy, it's truly not. So let's try to understand then the times and the seasons, and only deal with the Gentile level for the moment, because it's the most important. And then we are facing in the next 36 months another Pearl Harbor. So then we hope our military can start up then with a team of computer experts and get the entire system of the country updated as fast as they can, 24/7. The job must get done. For instance, during the time of the Second World War, during the time of the great code breakers, sometimes they would stand up for a long time, hours, and sometimes overnight. And there were teams over there 24/7 listening. There are raw materials coming in, but we already understand the future. We already know what's coming. But then is our government being proactive, making sure that the system is updated, besides what they think holy is? Because if they think they can place holy of some sort of their own in front, it's not going to take care of the problem later. What is Gentile level is Gentile level. What is holy tabernacling is holy tabernacling. You know, you won't find any earth, any person so holy of comparing with the Holy of Holies. You won't find many prophets yet because they are non-existent. The first holy city is not yet completed. So let's be proactive and get the system updated, because these great companies doing online trade, they're going to be nearly inexistent. So then the only way out of it, of these places, would be then our own industry being refurbished, where they can do trade in the internet, but the volume is going to be greatly reduced, because it's no longer having a profit from products abroad, it's having each product from abroad, and from abroad, depending on what kind of part of the world you are at, because some of the links come from the area of the space, and then they're going to be online, ordering online. So rather than you yourselves going to get a product from China in a local store, you get from online. And you know what? Without markup. Because the stores, they do order products from China, but then they have to have their markup. Most popularly is 100% of what you pay for. But then, when the system comes, you can get for the half of the price for the same product. So truly great change is coming as far as we understand the systems, and then understanding there is not and never existed any holy understanding other than the tabernacling. So churches and religious establishments, when they understand of holy, if they make a link with the creation, they are not holy of any sort, of any kind. Because the reason why the world is transitioning itself away from the systems of the last 1,000 years, it's because they had the wrong understanding of holy or tabernacling. And they have concocted for themselves systems of their own, with their own standards, and then those must be gone. That's why we find then the neutral system of China in every country doing trade with China, and then tabernacling taking place. So then they understand where holy comes from. Because you can't be on the side of the world, think because you then find fault in somebody else's life that does not line up with what you think should be holy, and then make judgment of other people. Never existed. So truly religious establishments, those are simply clubs. If you go to the bar, or if you go to those religious establishments, those are similar as far as tabernacling is concerned. So then let's try not be harsh upon other people, and then understand our system and get our system straightened out, and then avoid the second Pearl Harbor coming. Because it's coming, next 36 months, then the system is worldwide. So then, simultaneously with this understanding, during the time of the Tzayelic writings of the prophets, sometimes the nation was at war with other nations, and there was then an understanding from a prophet, where then the Creator gave him an understanding of what was coming as far as the angels helping the war. There are many areas of it that should be obviously evaluated, because there were times where there was divine intervention. It is true. But then those came in the form of dream. When you are then reading the scripture from the Israelic lineage, then regarding the prophets, try to understand, those were recorded after the fact. And from a standpoint of a person writing is not the same of having the experience. So then, we find then the nation at war with another nation, and then the prophet had this understanding in the spirit of the vast army on top of the mountain. Was it a real time? No. Every time there is an event in a Holy Scripture, there is a transitional time or steps of events. It doesn't take place drastic. We were always indoctrinated in drastic changes, such as 2012, last year. People were so crazy about it, and absolutely nothing had taken place. Alignment, shifting of pole, and the whole 9 yards. So during the time where it was then the nation of Israel dealing with their enemies, there was a step of formation during the time. They were at war with many nations, and then when the war plans were then discovered by the prophets, then they had special dreams. In those dreams they had the visions of yet to come. Thus, when you understand Yohanan, he saw the actual war of the end while he was located centuries prior of the event itself. So it works the same way when the prophet had the vision during the time of the combat. He simply prior of the combat were given the plans of war. So making a whole lot more interesting reading the scripture rather than trying to understand as per then a drastic spare of the moment situation when truly wasn't. Making a whole lot more interesting the study. So then when we begin our quest during this time of a transition from the 1,000 years of deceit and then back into the truth, where you understand the Yeshayahu, the 61st chapter, and the cities of the Messiah returning, then you understand tabernacling. However, whatsoever was concocted during the 1,000 years of deceit must be then flushed away. That's why we find then the Eurozone is breaking. Our own monetary system, if we don't take a strong stand and get our system updated, in our own country is going to break. We won't be able to save our system outside of US. That's gone. And then when the system of the Chinese comes, it is a download and you are online. Then the stores online, they're going to have a lot of work to do. So we can safely say and understand whatsoever our government can do for the country as far as factoring is concerned, or manufacturing of new technologies, more energy in the grid. Those should be done fastly, because then when the system comes, then there would be options, and will be options if we have our industry then revitalized. Because when it comes, there won't be any more ordering products from China. Try to understand the system and where it comes from. You have your store over there, you pay your dues, you pay your rent, you pay this, that, and the other, and then at the end of the month you have to do the inventory and then order products from China because you get the cheapest. But when the system is available online, who's going to go to the store over there to get the same product for double of the price? Where you can receive in your home. What is going to become of the stores? And then there is another situation related with petroleum. We understand Arabia is very rich in petroleum yet, and they are the sons of Ishmael. The nations are going over there, in quote, they're going to flock over there, and then they're going to find out what is and what not as far as trade is concerned. From nation to nation, try to understand, they are not going to be involved with the Chinese system. The Chinese system is absolutely unbreakable and is exclusive. Nobody is going to play around with the system. Because investments of years and decades of people are going to be invested in this system, it's going to be nicely protected. But then when it comes and you have in your very own monitor, you have over there thousands upon thousands of products and companies producing those products, you're going to start to make your selection. Oh, you want to invest in some sort of a screwdriver, you want to invest in some sort of power system, you want to invest in some sort of electronic equipment or equipment of the space. You're going to have a variety of areas where you can invest your money. Secured, locked up, and only you yourself have then entrance to this specialized area of the computer where you earn and purchase at the same time. The only section of it you have to remove then the funding from the special system into your own banking or your private institution, financial institution. That's the time when you are going to use for your own. Because you are legal in this country. Most of us are. So the analysis can be a bit frustrating because then what they thought was so cherishable back in the 1,000 years of the seed then became a junk. They have to rethink and redo what they have done for centuries. And most of the time, always judgmental, trying to find fault in somebody else's life when they themselves, they are not even close as being holy as they thought. And then when the new system comes, if the countries are not prepared, they're going to be ruled by China. There are a couple of objectives that prevents a nation from being governed by China, and this via online. Firstly then, it's understanding of the system of tax deduction instantly. The second is then the industry of each nation. If they can get those covered with a projection of exports, so then they can have the numbers in the system, then they're going to be prevented from being under the control. If not, they are under the control of China. Not only this, but then, as we understand, most of the decisions made because comes from the Creator are going to be in Arabia. Whatsoever the decision is made there, the Chinese won't be very concerned with it because they understand is a factor of the prophecies taking place, and whatsoever the Creator does is always wise. And they are earning their money worldwide. So you can expect thousands upon thousands upon thousands of the stores then closing because there is no more reason for ordering from China. They can do the ordering, but the price is twice as expensive. Even though when you get for cheap, they already have in their own system in conjunction with the government of China subsidizing so many services where you can get products at no charge as far as freight is concerned. Why would you go to the store to get the same Chinese product where you can get online? Not only this, but you invest in a company making those products and you earn with it. Then our government has a couple of options. Or they continue on with the Ozarks project and then go into a hole as ostriches. Or they face on the problem as they did face then during the time of the war at sea with the Enigma machine. They were able then to find the information and decipher them, working 24/7 under the guideship of the military, making an exacting system of tax deductions, and then revitalizing our industry. So then the stores then can pride themselves in having products of a high quality and then having their own websites available, but then they have to compete with cheaper prices. And a lot of these places, they're going to be coming from their own homes because of the costs involved with. As far as tabernacling is concerned, what a person does or does not in his or her personal time, it won't be relevant. Because what they thought was holy, they did not have a clue what they were talking about. Only the tabernacles are holy. And truly there is a whole lot more coming, because then you involve insurances. You also involve foreign banking. And because the system is absolutely secure, a lot of people doing banking in their own countries, they're going to maintain their profits in the system because it's backed up by other countries. Because of the price of the product, they are always backed up. So it's a sure security of your funding, always protected in the Chinese system. And every time you want, you only make a transfer to your own private institution, and there you are. You can expand in your own country. We've got 36 months to get our system updated and work the exact standards. And as far as religion and being holy, don't be concerned with any kind of a denomination. They were never holy at any time. What is holy then are the tabernacles of the Messiah. Those are 100% holy. So then, what is it going to become of the religious institutions? We can only say churches are going to be taxed, because they are realizing the problem with their understanding of being holy and then tabernacling. They are mere clubs. So you can expect they might be ended up being taxed. And then there is another situation with it. Every time you have earnings from a system, you can get benefits from, such as credit cards from bankings from abroad. You earn points for your flight trip. And you can understand Bank of China and Citigroup already linked up. So a whole variety of benefits coming from the trade with the system. You can imagine what it's going to be like, the credit card companies of each country. Because the situation is the credit is related with what you have as then your earnings. So the number of ramifications of this main system can only imagine. But there is a reason why there is mortgage already linked up with the system and banking already linked up with the system. When the system comes, it doesn't have to go very far then understand what's going to end up. So let's not try to be religious, but practical, as we always were. Practical Americans, and find out what can be done as far as the system is concerned, because the time is very short, 36 months. That's what we got.